Hi, my name is Neil Patterson. I'm a human being. I live on the planet Earth, which is a floating rock in the sky. I have two cameras, and they both have the same lens. They're both the same camera. And right now I'm using this thing to switch them. And technology is amazing. And the guest on today's podcast is an amazing bass player that has used technology in order to make a living playing music. And it's an inspiring thing because most musicians I know are kind of jaded and negative. And this is a dude that is just super fucking grateful to be given the opportunity to have forged a community on TikTok and is just excited about playing music and getting weird with it. So these are the type of people that I need to have conversations with. People like Mr. Bret Crow, who is on this show, because it's very easy for my brain to go to negative places. And I want to stop going there. And I'm on a little bit of medication that's supposedly supposed to help, but I think ultimately it's up to me. It's up to me to harness the positivity that lives within my brain and to somehow stick with it through a series of activities. I don't know, walking, microdosing on psilocybin, exercise, staying sober, being grateful. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay on that positive path in 2023 and make stuff and enjoy my life and have a prolific output. But most of all, fuck being prolific. It's about enjoying the things that you do while you do them. And we talk about that on today's episode of SUPcast. And we're nearing 100 episodes, but who knows? Maybe we'll get to the point where we hit 100 episodes, and then maybe we'll hit 200. Maybe we'll hit 1,000. Or maybe I'll just stop doing this altogether. The fact of the matter is, and the point is, I need to do the things in life that bring me joy. And I need to stick with those things. And I need to stick with people that bring me joy and people that bring the best out of me. And I know who these people are. And who knows, there might be more people in the world that I meet that can bring that out of me. And that's what these conversations and that's what this journey is all about. It's about finding a way to live the best life possible through enjoyable activities, gratitude, and love. And also, I just bought a house with my fiance, and we have to pay a mortgage. So if you enjoy these conversations, if you enjoy this shit, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Neil P. And I will be posting the new SUPcasts early on that Patreon. So be sure to check that shit out. $5 and up patrons get to see the podcast early. So do yourself a favor and support a guy who's got to pay a mortgage and sign up for that shit. And I wonder, switching this camera, is it annoying yet? Is it annoying yet? Is it annoying yet? Is it annoying yet? Is it cringe yet? Is it annoying yet? It's probably annoying. But you know what? I'm excited because when I was a little kid, I never thought that I would have a TV studio in a fucking room in my house. And I do now. That's fucking exciting. We live in exciting times. Yes, 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 yes. Exciting times. Without further ado, here's my friend Bret Crow, and we're having a conversation about music, life, and Frank Zappa. Yeah, motherfucker! Let's go!
Smell me.
Smell me, love me, heal me.
La la la. Hey, how's it going? Da-da-da. Some people believe in astrology. Others believe in technology. Some people believe in all those ologies, but I believe in swordfish. He believes in swordfish.
What's that?
The Dead Milkmen.
Oh yeah. I saw them. I was in Hollywood. I don't know their whole catalog. I know like.
Oh, dude, that was like one of my biggest influences when I first started playing music. Because I was like, when I first started playing bass, I was getting into Primus and like Mr. Bungle and stuff. But then a buddy of mine that was my punk rock friend, he showed me the Dead Milkmen, and I was like, yes, this. And then Ween, and I was like, yes, this.
What's cool about the Dead Milkmen is there's like iconic bass stuff going on, and you wouldn't think, I don't know, for some reason you wouldn't think iconic bass lines with Dead Milkmen, but like we just were discussing this. I was in Long Beach not that long ago, and there's like really iconic bass shit, especially what's the record with Big Lizard on it? Is it Big Lizard? Is that the record?
Yeah, it's Big Lizard in My Backyard. Dude, yeah, all those bass lines are like so well written. Like all the music on there is like every single song is like one of those, it's like a singles album. You know how like the Toadies Rubberneck is? Like every song on there was like on the radio.
Right.
I feel like every single song on Big Lizard, just a hit.
Yeah, it's hit after hit after hit. And
yeah.
And what was crazy is I hadn't heard that album since I was like in high school. It had been a long time. And now I'm 42 years old and I'm listening to it at this record store in Long Beach. And I'm like, this song's on this album too. Is like, yeah, it was like hit after hit. It was like iconic songs like Bitchin' Camaro and Big Lizard and what's that? Yeah, I forget what else is on there. I should know. Yeah, I should know more Tiny about that record.
I don't want to be on the beach. No fun.
Yeah, and okay, real quick because we got you and we're doing a podcast. I haven't done this in a very long time. I'm pretty rusty and I'm just like switching the cameras right now. I got this thing.
Dude, I'm just
right
hanging
here.
out, man. Yeah,
I can switch the cameras. It's beautiful. I'm here with Mr. Bret Crow, who I met through the app TikTok, and yeah, and world famous bass TikToker. I mean, yeah, which is weird because sometimes you see these people on the internet and then you meet them in real life, and the first thing you think is like how tall they are, and I thought Bret would be taller in real life when I met him in Texas, but he's just slightly taller than me. You're 5'11".
I'm 6.
You're 6. Okay, so he's 2 inches taller than me.
Mm.
Okay, I thought you'd be like 6'2" or something. I don't know.
Man, I feel 6'2".
Yeah, I feel 7'8". So Texas dude, bass player. We're gonna talk about music and we're gonna bullshit. And so,
oh yeah, I like your flyer, dude. Though you're gonna play at Kick Butt Coffee. That's a great place.
Yeah, I played there on tour
on that
Flipper.
Last tour that you did.
Yeah, like the day after we met. I think it was the day after or before. I forget. My brain's melted. It was on a Tuesday night, so it was the day after. We played Monday at 3 Links, and then we played the next day at Kick Butt, and it was a really cool show because David Yao's from Austin, and I think there was a lot of Yao heads at that show because
I'm sure, yeah,
because of Yao's Austin connection, and so the show was it was an interesting show because, you know, SUMPP opened up my silly thing that I do, and it wasn't that well received. But we got this bitchin' live recording that we made into a live album out of it, and it was like the audience was pretty contentious. They were like throwing beer. There were a bunch of like old head punks, and they didn't like the fact that we didn't have a drummer, that we were this like drum machine weird thing, and then yeah, it's funny because they're like throwing shit at me, and then I'm playing bass for Flipper next, so it was a really weird dichotomy. It was a weird night, but yeah, we're going back there.
Like, oh crap, we actually love you.
I don't know, man. I've kind of just come to the conclusion that I'm an alien and I don't fit in anywhere, and I think I'm just gonna stick with that because for the longest time I wanted to be accepted, and I thought when I found punk rock when I was a teenager, I'm like this group of people, this community will accept me. And over the years, it's like, no, they not even in 2000 when I started my old band, they were like too many guitar solos. They were like, this isn't punk rock, and they hated me back then. And now that I'm in a group that doesn't have a drummer, people are even angrier. It's weird.
Dude, I feel you. I'm sorry.
You probably feel similarly like an alien.
Dude, absolutely. Like growing up, like when I was trying to do music, like I grew up in South Houston. So a lot of the stuff was like real old school metal or punk rock or like the real poppy shit, you know, like Blink-182 was coming up at that time. When I was we probably like, you were a senior when I was a freshman kind of thing. Cause I graduated in 02 and you were 2000.
99.
Is that what you said? 99. Yeah. So
we're old.
When I was like coming up, I had just started playing bass. So I was getting really into like doing Primus and stuff, and literally no one around me, like unless they were like my friends, was either listening to that stuff or let alone playing it. So the kind of stuff that I wanted to write and like form a band with, there was no one wanted to do that kind of stuff. So for a long time, it was just me and a bassist. And I wrote all these like primacy sounding songs of original music and things like that, but we couldn't find a guitarist to save our life. So until like when I got 18 or 19, that's when I actually met some other musicians that were like in the surrounding area. So it was still like such a small niche thing to be able to find like-minded musicians, because you can get into the punk rock stuff, but like you either have to like, there's layers. You have to be like this kind of punk rock or this kind of punk rock, like all over the place. And then emo happened, and it's still happening. So then there was like that, because there was people that wanted to be like Jawbreaker, and I can't even think of like some, but it was like just different sociological groups of punk rock. You probably break it down and do a master's thesis of it. If you like really, really want to, you go talk to Milo from the Descendants and collaborate with him, because he probably seen that shit too.
Well, what's weird is, you know, Mike Watt is quoted as saying punk is what we made it. And I feel like as far as genre was concerned back in the 80s, it seemed like it was way less of a genre constraint, and it was more of an attitude. And I felt somewhere along the lines, there became these like really rigid genre constraints. And I don't know. It just gets to the point where this thing that shaped who you are, you feel like I don't fit into this either. And you know, I actually have a song about it where I talk about how, you know, I'm I'm too straight for TikTok, but I'm too gay for MMA. And so that's one of my songs. But it's true, because I feel like I'm wavering in between all of these subcultures, and I consider myself to be a weirdo, but I don't necessarily fit in to any of these subcultures. And punk rock is one of them. Ska is one of them. Straight up metal is one of them. And I'm just floating in the ether in between all this stuff and observing all this weird behavior and getting beer thrown at me. So South Houston.
I like taking the Zappa approach. Just make stuff that you like and get it out there. And if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, well, they're not going to like it anyway. So
same.
Just keep cranking it out and be true to yourself.
Same. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 plus years, but it's what's weird about you is when I saw you on the Clock app, I didn't know who you were. I didn't know of you from any other band or any other people. And I'm like, oh, this person's like me. And I just caught that vibe immediately musically, because you were playing bass to weird sounds, like found sounds that had rhythm to them, like whether it was like a, you know, some sort of a conveyor belt or anything that had rhythm to it, you seemed to put the bass to. And when you first started out on that app, was it videos like that kind of got the ball rolling?
I had wanted to do those kind of videos, like, because I'd seen that kind of stuff on YouTube from other musicians, like they would duet or they would like just record along to other stuff. But when I saw like the potential for that, when I first downloaded it in 2020, I was trying to figure out the proper equipment to use to get the best sound.
Yeah.
Because there's some apps that you can get and just download the videos and put it in there. But the ideal thing is to have your entire sound setup just in one thing that sounds good consistently every single time. So my first videos that I was doing when because I had gotten it at the beginning of 2020 and was just like cruising, checking it out, posting some videos here and there of like funny shit that I thought was funny, you know?
Yeah.
And then like, once I started like taking it seriously,
yeah,
I had to just sit down and just start pumping out bass lines of like, you know, Primus songs, things that I like. early on, I did like the Bobby's World theme and other TV themes and stuff, and just whatever I felt like. But it was just me sitting with my bass, like any of those ones that's like I'm sitting here and I'm playing the bass. I was doing that for all of my stuff. But then when my phone, when I first started tuning, it was an iPhone 6S. And the only way to do that was to get the headphone and use that as the microphone to get like clear, like no latency in the sound. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so like it's 1 and 1. Now with the iRig Stream, you can like just plug into the power thing, and then like I have it hooked up to all of my stuff, and you get 0 latency. So when I like once I got that in 2021, and that took about like I had to find, like I just came across a video of someone talking about it, and I was like, there it is. that's the thing. So I got that, and then it just started flowing, and I was saving everything, and that's how I got the snowball to become a giant, massive monster.
That's beautiful. So there was kind of like a curve a little bit. You had to figure out, how can I get cool sounds going straight into the iPhone? Because I don't know if anyone who listens to this podcast doesn't know that with the TikTok and the duet thing, it's best to and this is a question: is it best to just duet straight with the thing instead of like going in an editing program, or is that the quickest way to do it, or is that the most optimal for the algorithm, would you say?
I feel it is. And then I saw a video from someone talking from the CEO of TikTok's talking about video performance and stuff. Like TikTok knows that you do your editing in the app, so it boosts those things more, especially like within that. Because like when we make a video and then you post it on TikTok, and then you go and download it in another third-party app to get rid of the watermark. Those ones that do better on the other ones they're full screen. There's no black in between them.
Right.
So if you do everything in TikTok, it'll recognize it more and boost it within TikTok itself. As long as you have like none of the black negative area that you would have like on like the side to side duet, it has that black on top.
Okay.
Right. So on if you upload a video like that into YouTube, it uploads it and recognizes it as a regular video, not a short, like a reel. Like, you know how YouTube has the shorts, right. Instagram has reels. It would recognize the side by side duet as a regular video, so you couldn't do it. So you have to do the top down with either like 2 up top and then you're at the bottom, or you squinch it down, or you're just doing like a one-on-one sort of video.
But TikTok knows that you're staying within the app, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay, so well, I need to get one of those iRig streams then, because what I do is I fucking grab the shit and I put it in a third party thing, and I edit it because I like video editing, but that might be hurting me ultimately, because if TikTok knows that I'm operating outside of TikTok, then they know.
Dude,
they know.
They definitely. I do. That's where I do all my editing. Like, it's just of ease of use and what do you call it?
It's streamlined.
Well, it's like all in one thing. I don't have to go and do things elsewhere and then post it here. I can just sit down, block out an hour or two, get a bunch of good takes, and then be done with it. And it's all right there. Just plug in thing to the phone. I'm good.
So with the iRig stream, you're able to put like effects and whatnot, and you're able to run your vocals all straight into your iPhone?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have. So my setup.
This is really nerdy shit that we're talking about on the podcast. We're supposed to be like get to know you, but we're like getting in here. We're talking about TikTok protocol.
Yeah, this won't take but a second. I got my 3 effects pedals that go into a Harbinger 8-channel mixer.
Can you show it with the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the great thing about doing an interview with someone on an iPhone, is they could just fucking point the camera at shit. Show me what you're working with.
So this is my this is the overdrive envelope filter that my friend Toothlores of Fang on TikTok, his name's Zach. He made that pedal for me. This half over here is overdrive, and this is the envelope filter, and you can do them separately or together. So I like a lot of that ones with the where I have the fretless that has that wow. It sounds like a duck.
Yeah,
like, that's a lot of that sound. Then I have the whammy pedal for the higher solos and lower stuff and video game sound and music. And I use my Boss GT1B that has a lot of cool effects on that. And all that is going into this Harbinger 8-channel mixer. And then that goes down into my Boss RC300 loop station, which then goes into following up the RCA cable. I have a 1/4 inch to RCA that goes into the phones right here. That goes into the iRig, and then the iRig goes into my phone.
Where's your vocal input going into?
The vocals are going into that 8-channel mixer, and then I can control my bass, the mic, and I can also add in couple extra things if I want. I have a keyboard hooked up to it whenever I'm like doing improv on live streams and stuff. And it also has a Bluetooth, so whenever I'm doing like play alongs like on my live streams, I can have my iPad set up, and then that Bluetooth's into the 8-track, which goes into the looper, which goes into the phone, all without any latency from just using the iRig.
Okay, well, you should have a partnership with the iRig because you just sold me on that shit. What does it retail as?
That's like $100.
Oh, it's cheap too.
Oh yeah, you can get it on Amazon or at GC.
Okay,
Just
so you heard it here. If you're on TikTok and you want to do for real duets and you want to stay within the app, you get yourself an iRig stream. Says Bret Crow, bassist. So are you in Denton right now? Denton, Texas?
Correct.
Okay,
that's where I live. I've lived here since 2005.
Okay, so you were a weirdo in South Houston. What brought you up? Would you consider Denton the Dallas area? Is it like, or is it?
Yeah, it's like DFW area,
okay.
Dallas, Fort Worth. Those are the main big cities, but those are like, they're connected. Yeah.
They're connected. They're but one. So what brought you up to Denton?
I went to University of North Texas and got my music degree. I got a bachelor's of arts and science in music with a major in composition. So I did when I was 18, I got really, really into Zappa, and I was like, I want to be a composer. So I hadn't done any music schooling. Like it was all like punk rock and just jamming and playing and stuff. But I wanted to learn how to write music and like orchestrate, instrumentation, all that cool stuff. So I came up to here to go to school.
How hard was it for you to start notating what you had just learned with your ear?
That took a little bit of practice.
Yeah. Can you still do that?
You have to first you have to memorize like what everything is on the page, and then you have to figure out how to write out rhythms, and then developing near or perfect pitch. Because now when I'm like hearing sounds, I can pick out what the notes are, but I had to work a lot at doing it, like sitting there and going, oh, there it is. Okay. Like until I can get like, better at it.
Yeah. Cause like I mostly learned by ear, and I was in the choir in high school, and I could like do the tenor one part and I could follow the note on the page. But the problem is I couldn't sight read or sight sing. And when I actually started getting into some education for that stuff, I realized I was so far behind. And this was in high school. I went to a place called Interlochen, and I got there in a vocal music scholarship. But when I got there, I realized I didn't know what I was doing. Like it was terribly embarrassing because I was faking my way through being in choir because I just had a good ear and I could sort of follow the notes. But when it came time for me to apply that, or in order to communicate with the other students that actually knew it, I sucked. It was terribly embarrassing. Plus, they made us wear these shitty blue shorts. It was weird.
I feel you, dude.
Choir camp, dude.
Dude, yeah. I tried to... There was a music theory class in my high school when I was in a senior, and you had to audition for it, I guess. And then like the test that they gave was about like writing stuff down, and I got that, and I was like, nope. What? I didn't make it in.
Yeah, and it's weird because people are like, "You're good at music" or whatever, and I'm always first to be like, "I'm faking it, dude. I've been faking it for 20 something years. I can listen to things and I can figure out how to play them on guitar, and I know scales and stuff like that. But as far as like the idea of that Zappa wrote everything down, and he would give his players in his band sheet music, and he would write full compositions. I mean, that shit is mind blowing to me,
dude. That's what I want. Like, was trying to get to, still am, like, to this day. Like, if I can just have that, write it out, and be like, okay, here's your parts, let's play it now. Here you go. That would be neat.
That would be neat. Well, not only that, to be the idea of what Zappa did, putting all of his musicians on salary, and where he would have these long, drawn-out rehearsals, and he would do multi-night stands at venues. This shit is just mind-blowing, because imagine, dude, it's hard enough getting people to learn your fucking songs, and like, let's say you have an original project, and you got these musicians that are capable, but when you're on a small level, you don't have the money to put any of them on salary. They're just pretty much working out of the goodness of their souls. They're like, I like what you do. I'm going to give you my time. But just imagine not only having the knowledge that Zappa had, but to have the financial backing that he was able to get by being on a major label in the 60s, and to be able to continue in a DIY fashion. But imagine you have Steve Vai on salary. You have Terry Bozzio on salary. You can literally grind Terry Bozzio for 4 to 6 hours a day before the show during sound check. Like, wow. Dude.
Yeah, I would love to, if there was more info from when he got the break that they did for Freak Out through the 60s, and where all that capital came from to be able to do that. Because there was like a lot of good business stuff going on, apparently, or money was worth a lot more back then. So we had like accrue something to be able to do that. Or they're like, every gig goes to, like if it would, like in a regular band, every gig, the money goes and splits it between the band, but then some of it has to go. So he's either like not paying himself and only paying the musicians, or saving it, or something like that, to be able to keep them around and to keep them interested in that music too. Because that was because a lot of that's like when they're doing a lot of those shows out in Europe and being able to play whatever they want, they were doing a lot of improvising and just being so closely knit, like musically, and just being like on top of all of that stuff, like just from his hand movements and conducting.
Yeah, it's honestly like a once in a generation type of thing that I don't think we're ever going to witness again, especially the way money is monetized these days. You're not going to find someone like that is like a neoclassical composer that puts together a band of the greatest musicians on the planet, literally has them all on salary, and somehow is able to fund it all. And after reading his book, it really seemed like they were running a DIY record label after he got into it with Warner Brothers and whatnot. He said he would only say hi to his wife when they would be saying hi as they're like passing each other, switching shifts, essentially running the record label, which they were like sending out their own vinyl, and they were pressing all their own records.
Oh, yeah. They were doing Bizarre and Straight. So they would have like all those other, that's where like Alice Cooper came from, and the GTOs.
Yeah.
And I want to say the not the Pogues. What is that? The Shags. And what's another one? Yeah, he had that like Tom Waits. Tom Waits was on Straight Records.
Oh wow.
And just like, and then you had like Alice Cooper on the opposite side on Bizarre. So he was running those two, but I don't know where Warner Brothers came in, or what. I guess they were like managing other things, getting masters.
I feel like when he first broke, he had to deal with Warner Brothers, and that's where the initial push came from when he was with the Mothers. I need to read his book again, but it's fascinating to think that in the day and age that we live in, where it's like this singles driven, like TikTok internet market, where to come up with any sort of capital from actual record sales is a really tough thing to do. But we're talking about a guy that in the 60s was able to harness that capital and be so prolific. We're talking like 70 studio albums. Like it's just, and it's unreal. We're here.
Yeah, it was like 3 a year.
Yeah.
Full length albums.
Yeah.
Like full LP. So it's like 45 minutes of music a piece, he was like doing one every 6 months. And that's just like cranking it out, like doing only that. So when you like, he was like, talk about sitting in his basement writing for 8 hours. Have you written a piece of music on paper?
Yeah.
You have to like with a ruler and get his manuscripts are like pieces of art. They're super beautiful. If you've ever like seen any of them, like they're truly like there's so much that goes on, and all the scores that he wrote for 200 Motels, like in between, like in the hotels, like everybody be out partying and stuff. Like that's what 200 Motels was about. He'd be in there just writing all that orchestral stuff in between while they were going on tour for their promoting the other albums, and then that stuff, and then switching out the entire band and doing new stuff like within a year.
Yeah.
Because Weasels Rip My Flesh was the last like Mothers one, I think, of that group with Roy Estrada and Ray Collins and all those other people, Jimmy Carl Black. And then it went to where it was Flo and Eddie. And that was like what feels like overnight, because it was like from 69 into 70. Because that was when the Fillmore album came out, Just Another Band in LA, 200 Motels had just come out too, or it was around that time. So that was like, where did all that practice come from?
It's just it's one of those things where when I was a kid, I wanted to do great things, and you come to a point where, at least now, I just accept that I've done some stuff, but I'm probably not going to be one of those prolific fucking people that's revered, after I pass. I'm just going to be like a dude that did some things. But someone like Zappa, I mean, like I said, that's like Zappa or Prince. Those are like once a generation musicians that they come along and they're like fucking aliens. They don't sleep, and somehow they're just able to write vaults worth of music and yeah, it's unreal. And then go ahead.
The more I've been like working on music, like I've been every morning for the last like week or two, I've been working on these recordings that I've had for a while. I'm just like, I need to start doing recordings and stuff. And the more that I work on the like things, it's like, man, there is so much that goes into this. That's why like people put out like just one song at a time.
Yeah.
And
but somehow King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard puts out 3 albums a year, and that's like a band with 7 dudes or whatever in it, And
dude, that's if that's all you're doing and can commit your time to it, then you're able to do that. But if you have like other commitments or things that you want to do, or like travel or whatever, like it's like you got to pick your battles kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel like more nowadays than ever, I've just accepted that there's things I got to do that make money, and that's what I'm going to do to pay my bills. And the music is going to be like my fun hobby that sometimes I get to travel and do and sometimes make.
Hello?
Can you hear me? You froze up, bro. Oh, you're there. There you are. Talk.
Okay,
you're back.
Froze up. Sorry.
You froze up. Yeah, but what I was saying is, at this day and age, I've just come to the conclusion that music is this thing that I sometimes make money at, but it's really the thing that keeps me sane. It's my therapy, and getting up on stage is like the way I look at it right now. I don't have a full band that I could pay well, and I don't go on really long drawn out tours anymore because that shit was killing me. But I'm looking at April, and I get to play live like 3 to 5 times, and that's like the way I look at it. That's 3 to 5 therapy sessions where I get to get up and scream and yell and spit and have people throw shit at me, like cathartic, real experiences. And I'm blessed to even have that, because some people don't even go out and play live, and they don't get to have that, like, that weird religious drug, like addictive, crazy experience of, the flow of energy, give and take. Yeah. And it's weird too, because you can be a musician like that Davey 405 guy, you know him on YouTube?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He played bass for the first time recently, live.
I saw something that posted about it, or there was like a video that I just saw, like the cover photo for it. I'm like, he never played live.
So imagine that. Imagine being one of the most popular bass players in the entire fucking world, like millions of subscribers on YouTube, and the first time you ever play live is what, a decade plus into your career? Like, just imagine that, because I mean, we came up in the 90s, early 2000s. I bet you were, what, 16 when you played your first show?
I was 14 when I first started playing, but I was 16 when I played my first show. That was 2000.
Tell me about that. Tell me about 2000. Tell me about 2000.
So it was at my high school.
Same.
They had Pearland High School, Pearland, Texas, right in between Houston and Galveston. And my high school had a battle of the bands, and that was the first that I had ever heard about that.
Same.
In my town, of the high school doing that. And we had I was in 10th grade, and that was like, 2000. So like the big stuff was Blink-182, Weezer, stuff like that. I was playing, me and my buddy, it was just bass and drums. We were just writing music, doing our weird thing. And then we had a friend our friend Tommy. He had a band called Gloss, Glaus, and he was like my nu metal buddy. Like, we listened to Korn and Pantera and Cold Chamber, Typo, all that stuff.
Yes.
Like System of a Down. He got me into the very first System of a Down album.
Great record.
He had a band at the time that, everybody, I was in another punk band. We submitted a cassette tape as a demo to be able to play at this thing. And we didn't get in, but our friend's band did. But then right before, like 2 or 3 days before the show was supposed to happen, everyone but him dropped out of that group. So he came to me and my buddy Alan, who was my drummer. He asked us to play with him. So we figured out a few covers. We did Loco by Cold Chamber. We did the Cars version by Fear Factory. We wrote 2 originals, and I think that was all the 4 songs that we did. We had 2 originals. Loco we opened with, and we did Cars just for the fun of it. And we didn't win. I think we got second place, but there was only like one clear winner. They weren't like, runner up is blah. Right. They only did like one, but that was like the first time I had ever gotten to play in front of people. And there was probably like 250, 300 people. I don't know, just spitballing. But there was a lot of people at that show. But it came really natural to me at a young age just to be a performer. So I was like, as soon as I started playing, like, that's what I wanted to do, was play live or jam with other musicians, get out there. Because we didn't have, we had mp3.com. Did you ever go to that website? That's how I found, that's how I found Dog Fashion Disco and,
right.
and some other weirder bands that were like affiliated with, or they said, if you like Mr. Bungle, then you'll like these bands, or if you like Primus, you'll like these bands. So
do you remember
we didn't have like what we have now, which is like a gift, a super awesome gift? Because now we're talking on phones, and we can share our music. I can play bass with anything that I want, like a goat. Like you can do whatever. Like, but when we were younger, teenagers, I guess, That was when technology was switching over, internet was becoming a thing. Didn't even communicate through that. Like when I first wanted to do recording, I had to buy a Tascam 4-channel mixer thing that had a cassette tape. So I was just like, you had to get a drum machine, and I was really into Ween. So I was like, I'm going to just do a whole bunch of recordings, and I would make drum loops on the drum machine, then play some whatever and just write songs like with that. But it was only those 4 channels and it was cassettes.
Yeah. It's funny because the first time I ever played live was at my high school, and then we played the talent show, and we had a little mosh pit on stage, and we got in trouble. And then in 2001, we actually won this Battle of the Bands, and part of the prize package was one of those Tascam 4 tracks. So it's funny to
the silver one.
It was blue.
Oh yeah.
It was like was it like navy blue ish?
Yeah. I think I have that one too.
Yeah, but what's funny is meeting you on the internet and being like, this dude's like me, and it turns out we're like similar in age, and we have a similar come up story where it's like, I don't know, you're just kind of drawn in by this thing, and you end up playing in front of people, and that's what sealed the deal for me. I remember we were doing this thing at St. Andrews Hall, and I've told the story on the podcast before, but it was 1998, and we played this Battle of the Bands, and there was a lot of people there, and I'm like, this is it. And then I've decided right then, like, I forget how old was I in 1998. I was 17 years old, and I'm like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And here I am. And then on the internet talking to other weird musicians that have similar come up stories. It's odd, but it's beautiful. And I think
there are no coincidences.
Well, someone just told me that on TikTok recently. I'm like, it's all connected, man. Because it really is. And I think coming up at that point in time, it was really a special time too, because there was still that allure in pop culture with bands like Blink-182, System of a Down, where being in a band was like really cool. And
dude, well, that was also like Warped Tour was the place where you could it was sort of like you would send an audition thing or something, like the local bands would have their own stage on this big tour of bigger, like-minded musicians.
Yep.
That was one of the cool things about having that sort of tour fest around, because now, like, the other cool fest that happened that was within like the last decade was Fun Fest in Austin. Now, at least locally for me, because there was they had like Bad Brains play, Dead Milkmen played.
Yeah,
I saw Tim and Eric there. Jesus Lizard played there.
Yeah,
they had all the old school people come through. Now, getting onto fests, I don't even know how to do that. Help?
It's at the point now where it's tough to say. I don't know. We're just kind of the old guys, It's because there's a lot of legacy bands, and there's bands that have been around since the 80s, 90s, and those bands are continuing to get really good bookings. But it seems like there's a lot of young bands that are doing weird shit, that are drawing big numbers. But I feel like, I don't know, it's tough to say. I feel like people our age, we're kind of in this middle thing where we're like, I feel like I'm in between where the legacy bands are, and I'm not cool enough to be a young kid doing weird experimental shit anymore. I'm not like young and hot enough for that. So I'm like, I'm in this like, I don't know, I'm not old and legendary, and I'm not young and hot. So I'm in this like middle weird shit where I don't know.
We just got to keep networking and find the people that are just booking the shows, or that's what's great about TikTok, because those people will be posting on there, and like the Riot Fest person, that person's cool. Just ask for submissions and they'll go and listen to your music and stuff like that. Being able to just record at home, put it up online, whether it be a video or music or whatever, is an entire blessing, because now you can just share that. It's getting people to want to listen to it or check it out for those couple of minutes, if that. That's why, like, when I did that Time Knife album, I wanted to write punk rock songs that were on the shorter side. Like on that album, there's only like 2 that are at least 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Most of the things are like a minute and a half. And I was trying, like, the idea before was to get them to fit within like the whole song within that minute of a TikTok video. So you have like, I wanted to do like either like 30-second songs or like 61-minute songs, and just have all these really short songs that you can make videos to and like have it. Cause that was when everybody was doing a lot of the lip syncing to videos and stuff. Like, well, I'm going to get my stuff and I'm going to put it on there, and then I'll just have these, and I'll have all this content that I can make with all these songs. Yeah. Now 3-minute videos and duets are longer. You can do that.
Yeah. So that's your solo band or your original band?
That's what my full band, whenever I have full band musicians, will be like. It used to be called With Gusto. Now I transferred it over to Time Knife because With Gusto was like 10 years ago, old band name. Didn't really like, all the members left except me and my buddy Matt, who is my co-writer on that album. He plays all the keyboards and saxophones.
Cool.
And just changed it over to Time Knife. Like the name. Thought it would be cooler. New leaf, start fresh sort of idea. Now just having that as the big umbrella name, you can put whatever you want in that. Cause I wanted it to be, I do music where I don't want to be just like, this album's going to be, or all my music's going to be just punk rock. So all this new stuff that I'm writing is like, there's some funk stuff, there's some ska stuff, there's some weird primacy things. I'm doing like tapping stuff with the fretless, doing whatever I want. But the first stuff, I had written all these punk rock songs because I was in the band Wee Beasties, and I was trying to write some songs for them. But then I ended up leaving that, and I wanted to do something with those songs. So I took every song that I did and I just released it. I recorded it, released it myself. I recorded at my friend Michael Zane Rosser at Miser Productions. He did that all for me from what was it? End of September of 2020 into May or June of 2021. And I released it in October of 2021. And he helped me do all the recording and stuff for that. And I just wanted that album to be like those weird punk rock songs, because I've just been sitting on them and I wanted to just get them out because they were, I really believed in them, and I still do. So like whenever I have a full band, it'll just be like another part of the catalog that we can bust out that 18 minutes of music and just play through them, you know?
Where is that available?
It's I got a Bandcamp, timeknife.bandcamp.com. It's on every streaming service, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Amazon Music, Tidal, Deezer, Snapchat, Instagram. It's cool. Wherever you can, like, all you got to do is look up Time Knife, time space knife. Like,
yeah, cool.
You'll find it. It has our logo is like a black square with the ninja cutting a stopwatch. That's me.
All right. So when you started getting traction on TikTok for doing a lot of these duets and stuff, did you notice that, were you able to funnel that into your original music? Were you able to be like, hey, and implement the Time Knife stuff into your TikToks as well?
Somewhat. I had gotten to where I was doing promotional stuff, talking about like throughout the year was like making update posts, going into the studio, showing studio stuff that we were working, like new track coming, you know, those kind of videos, like real short stuff, showing a little bit, teaser things. And then when it came to when it was finally out, I would still promote it, but not as heavy. Yeah. So I still, like, on every live stream, I usually intersplice it with my own ad of like, hey, if you like what you see, you can go and check out the links on my link tree, and it has everything. It's got my bands, it's got my merch, got my, like, all that stuff. Go a like and subscribe on everything goes a long way. So you can go right here and go to all these things. So I would just funnel at that. And the last live stream that I did a playthrough of that full album, because I was like, I haven't played this in a while. So I just did a playthrough of it, got an album sale. So it's one of those things, like, you just do that as much, like, just talk about it, like, everything. But I like to talk about my music in a live stream where I'm able to, like, conversate with the people that are texting back, instead of like making a video and being like, do you like music? Do you want to see something that's punk rock and weird? Well, check out Time Knife. I don't like that scene. Like, I want you to check out the music, but I don't want to have to feel like I'm trying to make you go and listen to it or sell you on it, because the music's there. You're going to like it. I know you're going to like it if you go check it out. And here's the opportunity. You can just, if you like what you see on any of my videos, You can go and check out all of my music. It's all right there and listed. Like I got my Spotify profile there, and it has my solo stuff along with the Time Night stuff, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think that's something that I consider to be wholesome about you and your content is the fact that you don't seem like you're constantly trying to sell people. You're just like, hey, I exist. This is my bass. I'm playing music. Like there's no sales pitch. And you know, it's a fine line because all these industry types are like, you got to use TikTok to promote your shit. And so you get these creators that they're trying to make it in the music industry, but their whole TikTok profile is literally about stream my song, stream my song. Like every fucking TikTok is like, stream my song. I got a new song out, new single, stream, go, go, go. Give me your time, give me your attention. And there's only so much you can take of that. Like I'd much rather when I'm scrolling and I see your face and you got that goofy smile and you're looking at the camera and you just start playing some weird shit. I like that way better than you trying to sell me something.
No, dude, yeah. I don't have a lot of like I try to make the videos that I have of me talking mean something a little bit more,
right?
Because I mean, either like doing a promoting to like get the local people to come out to a show, because I know like most of the people that watch me, they like that's why I live stream all my shows, because I know more people are into what I'm doing that don't live in my town,
right?
Because I used to every open mic that I hosted around here, every performance opportunity, I was doing it on Facebook Live when you were able to do, you're able to do that now, but I was like doing it, but focusing it in on the people in my immediate area. And I would get some views and stuff, especially like on, if I posted like a regular video or anything like that. But it wasn't until doing it on TikTok regularly and posting videos regularly that you find an actual great community. And that's why I do it so much now, because I know that's what's gonna get you out there. I prefer.
That's beautiful. So when you're doing your live streams, are you doing the same sort of setup where you are going through the iRig?
Oh yeah,
okay.
That whole setup that I do for videos, I do for live streams as well. And I take it to my live performances and just do the exact same thing and plug it into the phone. So every live stream, every video, every live stream is all the same exact audio quality and same setup.
Consistency. So you have a signal going out to the PA and whatever venue you're playing, then you have a signal going right into your phone as well, and the phone's pointed at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The audio that goes into my phone is coming directly out of the looper pedal. And so I have an out that the main outs from the looper are going into the PA, but I can mute that and then talk directly to the camera. Like once I get done with the live show, I'll be like, thank you, everyone. And I'll turn that off. I'm like, okay, hey, everybody, we're here. Okay. I want to say thank you for being here and blah, blah, blah. You can talk like the mic is connected directly to the phone, and it's also connected to the PA. So you can just do either.
Do you ever feel like, do you ever get anxious because you're like trying to engage the audience on the phone and the audience that's the actual audience in person? Like, does that ever get like you're multitasking? Does it mess with your brain?
Not really. It just comes natural to me. Like I'll be singing a song and then like doing hand gestures and stuff like that into the phone. But then there's also someone that's like, you can look through the phone or past them, because there's people sitting there, but a lot of the people that are at a show, like if I play at the taco place that I play, they're just there to eat tacos. Like I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to play, but I know I'm not going to like I could change their life. You know, they're just there to eat tacos, and like I'm just like, hey, I'm playing music. If you like it, thank you. Have my poster. You can give, I like tips. If you feel so inclined, I'm just glad to be here and play music. Thank you for having me.
So it's it's more chill. You're not trying to steal their attention away from the tacos. Like,
no, yeah, I mean, they're going to be listening and jamming. Like they can't help but listen because I'm like blasting
right
it.
there.
But I'm also not trying to do like weird, intrusive kind of music. Like I know some people will take their artistic creativity to some of those places, but then like not play to the audience, and then it like runs people off in those sort of scenarios. Like I'm trying to play like bluesy kind of like solo-y. I do a lot of covers. Like I do a ZZ Top cover solo, and I don't do a lot of tritones is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I do a lot of diatonic stuff.
You're not trying to freak people out. You're just trying to enhance their dining experience.
I do funky, like if you've heard my solo stuff, it's really funky, and then like some bluesy stuff. Some of it's a little bit weird, and I do characters and voices and things like that. But I'm trying to just play music and have fun.
Yeah. Whereas if I were playing,
dude, you kill it with the looper pedal, and then you like do like emphasizing it with the adding reverb and stuff. That was really cool.
Oh, thanks. But I'm the type of person where it's just my personality, and I think it's because I didn't get enough attention from my father growing up, where if I go into a room, I try to make everyone pay attention to me, like whether they're eating tacos or they're smoking cigarettes outside. I'm just like, rah! and try to ruin their night in a way, but like in an entertaining way. So, but yeah, it's about knowing your audience, especially if you're hired to like provide ambiance. You should do that as opposed to like try to be like, pay attention to me, I'm performing.
Or getting upset at people like, what are you even doing?
I've been there. I've chilled out a lot. I used to be like really aggro and intense on stage. I've chilled out. Yeah. But what's weird is when you have chilled out and you're not as annoying and cringe as you used to be, and people still think you're annoying and cringe. It's weird. It's a weird place to be. Okay, this is another question. So you're in a Primus tribute.
Yes.
And you're a bass player that you have a 5 or 6 string fretless bass.
I have a 6-string fretless Wish bass.
How old has the like play some Primus comment gotten? Like, are you sick of it yet, or have you just embraced it?
Oh, I'm all about it, man. Like it's there like you'll see some other people and they'll like have a video trying to play Primus riffs and stuff, and it does really well for them, but there's no one like other than Flagman. Sam and the Flagman boys.
Flag boys.
Listen to Flagman.
That's a great
No
meme.
one else is like doing that kind of music in that sort of way. So I like that type of like, especially like Claypool's riffs have a very special place in my heart. So just being able to play them and do them justice and share them and show like how to do them correctly, I guess. Like they sound correct to me. And if they sound more like the album and the riffs themselves, then I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of doing it. I just love playing that type of music and writing that style of music. It's just one of those, I'll do it forever because who else is going to do it? No one. No one. Like everybody's like, yeah, Les Claypool's the man. Like, I know.
No, that's a good way of looking at it, because I feel like, I don't know, if you've been doing music for long enough, there's a sort of cynicism that kind of creeps its way in. And not only cynicism, but you get kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's not cynical. It's what's the word that's where it's like cynical, but you're like you're a little jaded, you know. But it's nice talking to you because you have this really positive outlook on everything. You're like, it's such a blessing, the internet. It's connecting us. I have a community, and of course, I like getting compared to Claypool and play his riffs because I love that shit. I mean, that it's refreshing to hear that stuff, because when people, like, let's say I do some operatic singing thing and people are like, Jack Black. I've heard that Jack Black thing so many times because I can actually sing a little bit.
You're singing the My Heart Will Go On. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. But I get that, like, what did they say? Wish brand, Tenacious D. I get that a lot, people. And but it's it would be nice if instead of being like a jaded, cynical fuck about it, if I was like you and I was just like, oh, that's great to be compared to Jack Black. That guy's a great singer and he's funny. Like, why not just have that positive outlook on it instead of be like, fuck you, I'm my own guy, bro. You know, like you're Bret Crow, but you also seem very acceptant of the Claypool comparison, and I think that's refreshing. So,
oh yeah, I mean, it's I like it better than like you're doing a good job. Keep trying, buddy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because there's no denying your ability, especially because a lot of your TikTok content, you have a lot of the duets where you're playing weird bass lines to other things, but what really, like, the weirdness of your playing really stands out when you got that fretless 6-string and you're just getting really wonky with it. And I think that's what first made me want to duet you is like I remember messaging you and being like, dude, like, if we lived in the same town, you would be my bass player. Like we would be in a band together. We just would. And then what else did I say? I said, I'm just going to duet Bret Crow videos until I'm dead. And I said something along those lines. Cause we should be writing music. I don't know, man. I wish it was easier.
What I've been working on these songs on my computer and some of them don't have guitar and I just wrote bass to them. So I might send them to you so I can see if you want to write something to it, because they're a little on the weirder side. I think you would dig them. We should do that.
Yeah. I wish there was, first of all, I wish there was 32, 46 hours in a day, A. And B, I wish I didn't get so tired. I get real tired these days where I got about 8 to 10 hours where I can go really hard and then the caffeine wears off. And then I'm worthless. Like I was doing some Photoshop shit yesterday and I was going. And then I'd start sucking, you know?
Dude, I have to, that's why I garden. So I'll like work on the computer for a little while. Like just keep like doing take after take after take, trying to get these parts right. And then I'll get like, where I'm at a good stopping point and I have to just go outside and walk around, like look at the plants or do something else, not in front of a screen. Just take those, like block it out. That's how I do. Like I'll take like set aside 2 hours, give or take, then a day, try to bust out as many videos on TikTok as I possibly can. Early in the morning, I break it up, or first I like sit down, been doing some recording, and then I'll get done with that, go do plant stuff, come back, do a little bit more recording, take a break from that, do some videos, eat food.
You gotta eat.
Drink some water.
Yeah. Stay hydrated.
And I got an iPad pretty recently, so I've been trying to like do some of my own art on there. Like I posted a few things on my Instagram, but trying to get that ball rolling too. So I have like some merch or stickers or things to have, you know, to keep working on something, you know, like, but break it up into chunks of the day and then like taking breaks in between those. So you have like stuff, break, stuff, break, stuff, and then eat food.
Yeah. And stay hydrated. What sort of crops are you growing? What sort of plants?
I do a lot of the leafy vegetables, arugula. I really like growing zinnias. They're really easy to grow and they're just really beautiful to have and take care of. And it's just really satisfying because when you have a bunch of flowers, you can have a flower and go cut one for my girlfriend and give it to her every day. I also like doing peppers, have some cayenne and some serranos growing.
Oh,
I had an eggplant last year, which was really cool to see that happen. Dill, cilantro, trying some new stuff. Got some corn, okra, and peas in the front yard. And also try to grow some morning glories. I really like those vines and flowers. They're really pretty. Stuff like that. Try to switch it up all over the place.
That's beautiful, man.
I don't know if you see the people growing microgreens on here, but I want to do that. That looks so fun. those trays of microgreens. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's the person I know in LA.
My income.
Yeah, she has her own organic microgreen farm. This girl Lynette that I know, and I have yet to try it in a salad or anything, but
eat them. Yeah,
yeah. They look very satisfying. They're tiny.
That's what I'm like.
Micro.
The amount of time to grow them and then to be super good for you, and you've watched the entire process. That just sounds and feels like very satisfying to me. How lush it is, like in all those videos. I'm like, man, I can do that.
Is it a quick process? Or is
it says it takes about 7 to 10 days once you get it down.
Wait, that's
you gotta
it?
get like lights and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
All the right equipment. But then once like you practice like with a tray at a time, get good at it, then you do like 30.
Yeah, she does volume. She actually packages them and sells them. So is there like a microgreen community on TikTok? Is that like a thing?
Yeah, the one dude I found, Blom Treezy, BLOHMTREEZY. He has a group. It's free to join. I joined. It's called Life of a Microgreen. It's a group on Facebook. And people post about it all in there and stuff and their techniques and things. And it's just super fascinating. Like to see people's setups. It's just really cool. I think it's like fascinating. And the people that are growing mushrooms on here too, there's a whole like bunch of people talking about that. And it's crazy to see those videos because they're like going through the entire process and it doesn't take a long time. It's like, ooh.
You're talking about psilocybin?
No, gourmet.
Oh, like okay.
But probably also, you know?
Right. You probably just, TOS won't let you post that on TikTok. I don't, probably not.
No.
Yeah.
No. But you can talk about shiitakes and the other ones all you want.
Portobello.
Yes.
Cool. Well, it's I'm just right now, my brain is like, how can I split up my day so I'm more productive is like where my brain is going right now. And I'm thinking about like, what sort of holistic thing could I do, like gardening, that will calm my brain down? Because yeah, it's weird to be a creator and have to use these screens in order to create, but then also to be able to detach from them. I think that's something that I need to work on for sure.
Dude, that's what gardening for me, I really found like it like is really satisfying, and it's chill, and you're doing stuff with your hands, like actually like helping things grow and being a part of that process. It's really cool. And you can still do everything that you're doing and have it going on without you thinking about it. Like you can go take care of it for 15, 20 minutes in the morning, and then that you're good for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Helps break up, like, but you can do your thing, go do that, do more stuff. It's about time blocking.
And then when people say, go touch some grass, you can be like, I already did.
Then eat it.
Yeah. And then I ate it. So Time Knife streaming everywhere on Bandcamp. We got Bret Crow. Yes. Do you have your own website?
I just have a link tree. I had a website for a little while. A friend was helping me with that, but I need to get the actual .com or whatever. I also do self-promotion. I got my own solo stuff. I got 3 albums of solo music you can find on my link tree. It's on my profile on all my social medias. I do sketch comedy. Me and my buddy Ethan, who I also play in his band Strong Work. We have a show on St. Patrick's Day that I'm playing Strong Work, Primus, and then my other band Star Party, which is like Daft Punk dance type music that's on St. Patrick's Day here in Denton. And me and Ethan, we do sketch comedy, and our channel on YouTube is Slice Fury, all one word. And we've been doing a sketch a week since we used to do it a few years ago, like back in 2014, 2015. Then he started focusing on more of doing his band stuff, and we didn't do it. And he didn't have the right equipment, but then like phones became where they are today. So now he's amazing at editing. So we like, if you go check those out, they're really funny. And we just improv for like 5 hours in a day make a sketch, post it later on in the week, and do that consistently every week. And it's been a lot of fun to be able to flex that sort of creative process too. Not just do music, but like improv comedy, which I have a big background in as well.
Dude, that's badass. So Slice Fury, Time Knife, a lot of cutting.
Yes.
We're cutting it up. Well,
Yes.
And what's the YouTube channel for Slice Fury? Is it just youtube.com/?
It's youtube.com/Slice Fury.
Okay, I'm gonna put everything down in the description because this is gonna go on YouTube.
I can send you the socials, like the actual tags for it and stuff, but it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, send me all that shit. Yeah, it's been about an hour. I'm trying to keep these. I could talk to you for like 3 hours, dude. But I'm trying to keep this shit like below Joe Rogan length. Trying to keep it to like an hour. You know,
we can do it again sometime. It'll be fun.
Yeah, but we have Bret Crow from Denton, Texas, originally from Houston, bass player, gardener, sketch comedian, band leader, composer, creative weird dude with a pizza shirt. So St. Patty's Day is coming up. Anything else you would want to plug before we end this?
Like, follow, and subscribe on all social media platforms. Go to my link tree. Go to everything on there and check out my music. My next show is next Saturday at St. Patrick's Day at Rubber Gloves Rehearsal Studio in Denton, Texas. The best place for punk rock and weird music. They actually still have noise shows, which is great. So,
Denton.
Yeah,
I have a friend in Denton. I need to make it. I need to go out there one of these days.
You should come through when you go to Austin, bro.
How long of a drive is it?
What?
How long of a drive is it?
From Austin, about 3.5, 4 hours.
I'd have to convince my fiance. She likes to do cool stuff though. But we're going to, when we go to Austin, we're going to visit her friend, and I think we're going to eat barbecue. I think we're just like gonna only be there for 2 days.
Word. Sounds good.
Yeah, if it wasn't so far, I'd ask you to play bass for me that night.
Dude, yeah. That would be a whole trip.
It would be a whole trip. April 7th.
Oh, wait, I got a show on that day, too. I saw that. I have a show doing primus on April 7th.
Never mind. You got to do your thing, man. Well, it's nice to hear a refreshing, non-jaded, positive take on everything. It's nice to talk to someone who has a really good attitude about things. Because, man, I talked to a lot of musicians, and there's a lot of negativity floating around, and there's a lot of people are butthurt, and a lot of people are jaded, angry, and just feel like they deserve more. But it's just nice talking to someone that's like, yeah, I get to do all this shit, and it's a gift, and I get to play. Yeah, it's beautiful. I get
to play music every day and do whatever I want, and make my own schedule.
That's beautiful, man.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, cheers to you. That's inspirational, and that's why I like doing these little conversations, because I need to be inspired. So thank you, Bret Crow.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right, check out the links. We'll see you on the internet. But I'm gonna find you in real life. I'm gonna kidnap you one of these days. We'll do a short tour or something.
That's what's up.
It'll be fun. That's what's up. Bret Crow.
Yes.
All right. Hey, you made it to the end. What'd you think? Sign up for the $5 tier on Patreon. $5 and up, you get to see everything we do as we're doing it. Be a part of this community and help this shit get made. So that's my spiel. Sign up for the Patreon and see you in the next video.